Do you know the name of the girl in the red hood? Yeah, she's known as the Little Red Riding Hood. There once was a girl whose grandmother made her a red cloak. Thus, she became known as a Little Red Riding Hood. One day, when her grandmother was ill, Little Red went to visit her and take her a basket of goodies. Her mother tells her to stay on the path and not to speak to strangers. Upon meeting a wolf in the woods, she ignores her mother's advice and tells the wolf where she's going. The wolf encourages her to pick flowers and take the longer path to her grandmother. The wolf then rushes to grandmother's house and eats grandmother's whole. When Little Red arrives, the wolf is in bed disguised in grandmother's clothes. He then swallows the Little Red whole. A nearby huntsman hears the wolf snoring and cuts open his stomach to save Little Red and her grandmother. The huntsman then punishes the wolf. The next one is Pride and Prejudice, a romantic novel by Jane Austen, published anonymously in 3 volumes in 1813. Pride and Prejudice is set in rural England at the turn of the 19th century, and it follows the Bennet family, which includes 5 very different sisters. The eldest, Jane, is sweet-tempered and modest. She is her sister Elizabeth's friend. Elizabeth, the heroine of the novel, is intelligent and high-spirited. The third daughter, Mary, is plain and bookish, while Lydia and Kitty, the 2 youngest, are immature. A classic English literature written with incisive wit and superb character, it centers on the relationship between Elizabeth Bennet, the daughter of a country gentleman, and Fitzwilliam Darcy, a rich aristocratic landowner. Throughout the story, the Bennet sisters encounter several eligible bachelors, including Charles Bingley, Darcy, Lieutenant George Wickham, and Collins. That's fantastic, knowing how prejudice could change someone's decision and even life. And this pride in the title could go to both of the main characters. She lived deep in the forest in a tiny cottage and sold herbal remedies for a living. People living in the town nearby called her Bloody Mary and said she was a witch. None dared cross the old crown for fear of the terrible things an angry witch could do to their neighbors. One day, several girls began to disappear, and the folks suspected that Bloody Mary had something to do with it. One night, Miller's daughter disappeared and was followed by her mother's cries, which woke the neighbors. A few brave souls went to Bloody Mary's home in the wood to see if the witch has taken the girls, but she denied. A few townsmen followed her out and saw Bloody Mary standing beside a large oak tree, holding a magic wand that was pointed towards the miller's house. When she heard the commotion, Bloody Mary broke off her spell and fled back into the woods. She then was burned in a huge bonfire built by the angry villagers. Bloody Mary screamed a curse at the villagers. From that day to this, anyone who chants Bloody Mary's name 3 times before a darkened mirror will summon the vengeful spirit of the witch and be trapped forever in the mirror. The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down is a collection of Zen Buddhist wisdom written by Twitter monk Hanem Sunim. This book really teaches me how to be calm in this busy world, to live my life and not to overthink scenarios that will probably happen in the future. The world moves fast, but that doesn't mean we have to. Unlike other self-help and development books, Hemincinim doesn't give explicit tips and instructions, but rather ideas and sentences that we can reflect on and find the answer for ourselves. One of my favorite parts of the book: do memories cause you pain? Practice being in the present moment. Turn your attention to the here and now. Notice that your thoughts subside when you focus on the present. As your thoughts quiet, so too the memories, because memories are, in essence, thoughts. Our mind controls the world around us. Our reality consists only of what our mind chooses to focus on at that moment. It isn't the situation we find ourselves in that's making us happy or unhappy, anxious or relaxed. It is our perspective on the situation that's creating those feelings. Enigma is a collection of short poems and writings with photographs. Both the writing and the photos are the work of Amanda Margaret. Enigma is about a person who talks about him or herself, love, longing, and family. My favorite parts of the books are when the words are related to the context of my life. I put ears on the words people say because I know how it feels to talk, but nobody listens. What I've learned so far is that you can never be in love and feel happy at the same time. Love has always been identical with pain and rejection. So if you get yourself complaining about the pain you're feeling because of love, never blame anyone else. Blame yourself. After reading this book, I remember that I have ever felt that the worst pain is to feel unwanted by the person whom I wanted the most.